Thank you Logitech for Creators for sponsoring this video. You know those videos of creators that feature multiple angles? That's called a multi-camera setup. And if you've been following our channel for a while, then you'll notice that we never do multi-cam videos. That's because they're expensive and time-consuming to film and edit. Well, all of that changes now thanks to Mevo. This is the Logitech Mevo Start, a wireless HD live streaming camera. In this video, I'll show you how this camera works as part of the Mevo Multicam ecosystem, making it the fastest and easiest way to make a multicam video. Before I explain how to set up the Mevo, let me give you 5 reasons why this camera rocks. First, it's a super compact camera, smaller than most smartphones, but pretty hefty, coming in at 232 grams. It reminds me physically of an external battery charging brick. Second, this camera has premium video features, including a 3.6mm focal length, an f2.8 aperture, and the ability to record in up to 1080p. Now the video quality might seem like a con, but keep in mind that this is a live streaming camera first, and it's a real challenge to efficiently live stream in really high quality resolutions. Third, you can easily sync multiple cameras to give your video multiple angles. Now typically, this is a really difficult thing to do, requiring lots of time in post-production. However, the Mevo Multicam app is really efficient and easy to use. And that's actually the 4th reason. After the initial camera setup, it's a breeze to set up your cameras and start recording or live streaming. And the 5th reason is that the Mevo cameras are completely wireless. You can be charging the cameras via the USB-C port while you're using it, but you don't have to, especially because the camera has a 6-hour battery life when it's fully charged. Finally, let me clarify that even though the Mevo camera system is made for live streaming, you can record a video on a memory card and publish your video later. You don't have to live stream. You can also buy a single Mevo Start camera and use it on its own, but the real strength of this camera system is in the Mevo Multicam app, which lets you sync unlimited Mevo cameras. So you can start with a single camera, or you can dive in off the deep end with the Mevo Start 3-pack. One thing to note though is that the 3-pack only comes with cameras and a USB-A to USB-C cables. If you want camera stands, which you'll definitely have to use to mount and position these cameras, then you'll have to purchase them separately. And since I mentioned money, let's talk price. A single Mevo Start camera runs $400 while the Mevo Start 3-pack is $1,000 Now that might sound a little steep, but if you wanted to do a 3-camera multicam setup with any other brands out there, you'd likely be paying at least $1,000 for a single camera. So I have my Mevo Start 3-pack here, my 3 different cameras with the 3 different mounts. Well, actually there's another one for this one that is right behind me, but now that we've unboxed the cameras, let's talk about how to set up the Mevo Start camera. So after you unbox the cameras, you want to download the Mevo Multicam app on a tablet or a smartphone. It's important to note that there are a couple of different apps in the App Store. There's the Logitech Mevo app for using a single camera, or the Logitech Mevo Multicam app for using multiple cameras. In this example, we're going to move forward with the Mevo Multicam app. Once you have it downloaded, open the app and power on your Mevo cameras. On the back of the Mevo Start camera, there are 3 ports: a micro SD card slot, a USB-C port, and a 3.5mm microphone jack. At the top, there's a power button, and above that are 4 LED lights that light up to indicate that the camera has turned on and also tell you how much battery life remains. On top of the camera, there are built-in microphones, and on the bottom is a screw-in 1/4" 20 tripod mount adapter. After the Mevo powers on and connects to the app, it will ask you for your Wi-Fi info. Now there are 3 different ways that you can connect to a network to live stream: through Wi-Fi, your cellular data, or Ethernet. For the latter, you'll have to purchase the Ethernet power adapter. In this demo, I'll be using my home Wi-Fi, so I'll select my network and enter my password. Once you add the Wi-Fi info for one camera, it remembers the info for your other cameras, so there's no need to input the Wi-Fi info again. After the cameras connect to the app, tap the button to do a firmware update for each camera. This does take some time, so budget about 5 to 10 minutes to do the firmware updates, but definitely make sure that you do them first, as they enable the latest features for each camera. So this is the main interface of the Mevo Multicam app, and as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. The top screen is what your audience sees, and the bottom screens are what each camera sees. So in terms of individual camera settings, one of the first things you want to do is tap the 3 dots on the bottom right-hand corner of each camera angle and hit Mevo Settings. Then tap Camera Name and change the name to something that makes it easier for you to remember. Going back to the individual camera settings, you can also make image adjustments. By default, the camera mode is on auto, but you can change it to shutter speed priority or full manual if you want to set your shutter speed, ISO, white balance, contrast, metering, etc. You may at least want to enable EIS or image stabilization if you plan to use the cameras while moving. You may also want to turn on HDR if you're filming in high contrast, or you can scroll through the other video presets and choose the one that best fits your filming situation. The next individual camera setting is crop and zoom. This is a digital zoom feature that you can use to zoom and pan into your shot if you want to focus in on certain things or hide unsightly things from your shot. Going back out into the main dashboard, notice that above the 3 camera views is some info, including the input quality, CPU load, and free space. This is just an informational bar, but if you do want to change some of these settings, then tap on the 3 dots in the lower right-hand corner. This brings up global settings. Now, most of these are okay on default, but there are a few settings that I would definitely change. The first is the camera input quality. By default, this is set to 480p, which is pretty low quality. So I want to change that to be the maximum quality possible, which is 1080p high. Now, if you change the video quality, just make sure that your Wi-Fi or your cellular data network can handle it. In fact, if you go back out into the main menu, there's video source latency, which by default is set to standard, which is fine for most Wi-Fi networks. But if you're seeing some network speed warnings or using a really slow Wi-Fi network, then you might want to change this to high latency. The next setting that I would change is Auto Director. I want to toggle this on so that the app automatically rotates between my camera angles. I can select up to 2 cameras to make sure that they're featured more often, and I can also set up the time for how long each shot is shown. If you don't use Auto Director, you can manually toggle between the camera angles, but I find that I'm so preoccupied by filming that I forget to do this. So it's easier to use Auto Director unless you have someone else that can choose your angles for you while you're live streaming or filming. 2 other settings that I think are fine on default, but you can toggle them if you'd like, are transition type and crop settings. For transitions, this is how each camera angle transitions from one to another. It's on cut by default, but you can choose other ones like crossfade, slide, or edge wipe, and also set the duration. For crop settings, this allows you to set the parameters for the crop and zoom feature, which is something that you'd enable from an individual camera setting. When it comes to audio, we want to head back to the bottom part of the app and tap on the audio waveforms icon to control the audio settings for each camera. You can also tap the audio icon to mute the cameras. Each Mevo Start camera has 3 built-in mics, and they actually sound pretty good as long as you're within close proximity of the camera. Let's see if you guys can hear that siren out there. It's pretty loud. This is a sound test with the Logitech Mevo Start camera using the built-in microphones. I'm standing roughly an arm's length away from the camera, and this is what it sounds like. The camera also has a 3.5mm microphone jack for plugging in and adding your own microphone. Alright, my external microphone has been plugged in, and there's even a little icon that appears in the app to verify that connection, but this is what it sounds like using an external wireless lavalier microphone with the Mevo Start camera. You'll just have to get creative on how to mount the microphone, as there's no cold shoe attachment on the camera. Once you have all of your cameras connected and your settings are dialed in, it's time to go live, or at least record your video. So to do this, go into the Mevo Multicam app and look in the center and notice the 3 buttons: Live, Record, and Beta. If you want to live stream, then tap on Live. Don't worry, it won't automatically start live streaming, at least the first time. Instead, you'll have to log into your streaming platform of choice, which for us is going to be YouTube. After you enter your login details, notice the blue button in the upper right-hand corner that verifies the video quality, and also note the record toggle on the bottom. Make sure that this is on if you want to record a copy of your live stream, and then you hit the Go Live button to start your stream. Now, if you don't want to live stream and would rather record your video first, then go back to the main dashboard and tap on Record. Make sure that Record to Device is active and double check the video quality. There's also the option to make sure that each Mevo camera is recording. You can only select this if each camera has a micro SD card inserted. In fact, the lower section of the app verifies if there is a SD card in the camera or not. You can also format or delete and reset the card from the app. Well, I hope you enjoyed this overview of the Mevo Multicam live streaming setup. It's a game changer in terms of being able to quickly and easily make a multicam video, and I personally will be using the setup on occasion to film videos here on the channel. Speaking of, stay tuned for our first ever live cooking demonstration video that will be filmed exclusively with these Mevo cameras. Let me know if you have any other questions, and I will see you in the next video.